Welcome to SportsBanter. This is Bryce, and today we're back again here with AEW Dynamite's post-game show for the June 26th episode of AEW Dynamite. This time it was on a Saturday night at 7 o'clock Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and I really liked the change of the time. It made things seem a lot more lively. I was a lot more awake for this Dynamite than I usually am for those Friday night 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Dynamites, but now back in the regular time slot, but not the correct day. That'll be corrected this Wednesday, but we still had a really big Dynamite ahead of us. The first thing that happened on the show, Shawn Spears hitting Sammy Guevara in the arm. So there were some questions as to whether Guevara would be available for Wednesday's Dynamite show, in which he's going to face MJF. But later in the show, we would realize that would have almost no effect on Guevara. We started off in the opening contest between Hangman Adam Page and Powerhouse Hobbs. And man, it was a really good way to open up the show. The match begins, and it seems like Hangman Adam Page is always in these opening contests. He was in the opening match of AEW's Double or Nothing show this year. He's back again in the opening match for this night against Powerhouse Hobbs. And I guess that's the strategy, put on the Hangman Adam Page matches first. And he does a great job at being the first match of the night, as these two put on a really, really solid match. Not as good as, the Brian Cage, Adam Page matches from before, but still a very good match, and really showed Powerhouse Hobbs' talent and why he really deserves to be among the elite of Team Taz. And there was a particular part in this match when Ricky Starks came out with the FTW Championship and tried to give the title to Hobbs so that Hobbs could smack the title over Hangman Adam Page's head. But Brian Cage came out, and, we continue this storyline between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks and the dissension between Team Taz's elite members. So these two fighting once again. Brian Cage may split from Team Taz very soon, and that's going to be exciting to see. But in the end, Hangman hits the dead eye for the win, bloody head and all. This was a solid match, a really fun match, and that was that. Hangman now is going to probably be the number one contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So we'll see where that takes him, whether he faces Kenny, whether it be All Out or maybe the Dynamite Grand Slam event. Then we get a little bit of hype for the main event. Solid stuff there. Then Brandon Cutler and the Young Bucks cut a promo. The Young Bucks call out Jon Moxley's newborn baby, which a little personal there, but, add some heat for the Young Bucks. They did a pretty good job being heels. Brandon Cutler trying to get a few witty lines in there, and Young Bucks kind of pushed back, kind of resisted. Kept one line in there, but, typical heel Young Bucks stuff, as they announce a tag team match between Penta El Cero Miedo and Eddie Kingston coming this Wednesday on Dynamite. And then we have the segment between Tully Blanchard and Conan having a face-to-face meet-off. And it was a really good promo from both of these men. They had some great banter. Conan saying that there's still openings for Walmart greeters for Tully Blanchard. That was hilarious from Conan. And it really culminated in Conan calling out Santana and Ortiz, thinking he's one step ahead of Tully Blanchard. But Tully Blanchard came to reveal that Santana and Ortiz were attacked backstage, and the men behind the masks were none other than Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood of FTR. They did the usual spike pile driver to Conan, and that was that. The next match on the show was Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin. But before we can get to that, Dante Martin came out, and then, for some reason, Vicky Guerrero came out yelling, "Excuse me." And here came the worst part of the show. Andrade came out. They were talking about some sort of big announcement coming tonight, which, spoiler alert, did not actually happen. So, in all actuality, this interrupted the entrances for this promising match put the spotlight on Andrade and made him look like an idiot, as there would be no announcement, which means that this was completely pointless and a waste of Andrade on TV. So why did they do this? Beats me. But nothing came out of it. And it really just sucks, because they need to do something with Andrade, and they need to do something quick, because the Andrade coming to AEW storyline, it's starting to wear out. Andrade needs to do something, and it has to be soon, or else, fans will lose interest in this Andrade situation. But anyways, now to the match of Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin. This match really ruled. I said it on Twitter. It was very close to being one of the better. It could have been match of the night if the main event didn't exist, and obviously you couldn't beat Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy. But Dante Martin and Matt Sydal put on a show quite worth the Dynamite name to it, because it was Dynamite all throughout it. Lots of high spots, lots of athleticism shown by both men. The crowd were chanting, "This is awesome," several times throughout the match. It was so enjoyable to watch these two, and I really am a newfound fan, I guess, for Dante Martin. He's only 20 years old, and yet he has so much potential. He could be something special, too, in the future, along with his tag team partner, who's out with an injury right now. Man, Top Flight could be future AEW Tag Team Champions. Just because of what I've seen from Dante Martin, he's gotten real spotlight since his partner's injury. Top Flight's going to be something big, I tell you. And then it's the same thing for Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal also was very captivating in the ring. He deserves a little more of an opportunity. I know he's gotten some opportunities, especially I remember the match a couple of months ago between him and Kenny Omega, the AEW World Title Eliminator match. Didn't go to Sydal's plan, but it was a pretty solid match. And Sydal continuing to really seize the moment here in AEW, have some great matches live on Dynamite. After that, more hype for the main event to come. Christian Cage talking to Jungle Boy, giving him some advice. Then we get yet another pre-tape promo between Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill. I'm enjoying their chemistry in these pre-taped promos. They bounce off of each other extremely well. And I do like this, the pre-sale code to get 10% off of Jade Cargill's merch. The dig with the double XL wrestling fan joke. It really hit well. Some great heel work from both Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill, and she reminded everyone that she is that bitch. And then we have a backstage segment when Alex Marvez interviews MJF, Wardlow, and the chairman, Sean Spears. And it really ended with just a brawl between Jake Hager, Chris Jericho, and the Pinnacle. It spilled right into the ring. I'm usually not really a fan of these brawls between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, just because I felt that the rivalry should have ended at Blood and Guts or even at Double or Nothing, and it's still going on. But I'm still holding on to hope. We had the MMA match last week between Wardlow and Jake Hager, in which Hager defeated Wardlow. But we still have conflict between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, and out comes Sammy Guevara to save the day. Obviously, the chair shots didn't do much because he wasn't bandaged. Didn't seem hurt in the slightest. A little bit pissed off, though, and started swinging the chair everywhere. And that was really to set up that Wednesday night main event, Sammy Guevara versus MJF in a high-profile singles matchup. That's going to be exciting. I get the brawl stuff. It's very in storyline that when they see each other, both factions, they start to brawl each other. It's getting a little old to me, but I'll let it slide. Hopefully, once this program, these matches between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, once these end, hopefully both of these factions can move on to something bigger and greater and maybe a little more compelling. And then we get a interesting promo time with Miro, the AEW TNT champion. And this was pretty good. He really is tapping into this, how he prays to God for strength. He's really tapping into that side of his character extremely well. We come back from Miro's promo to have this one-on-one match between Ethan Page and Bear Bronson. And this was a pretty solid match. I enjoyed it for what it is. It did its job. It showed that Bear Bronson was an impressive wrestler here in AEW. Also, kind of cemented my appreciation for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, the Men of the Year, as performers. I mean, Scorpio Sky, I always thought he'd be a great singles face, but he really is kicking in that heel mode. He's kicking it in very well. And Ethan Page, he's a natural heel. Natural guy to hate here in AEW, and he did a phenomenal job in this match. I think both men did a great job in selling the interference, and even when Bear Boulder interfered with Scorpio Sky's interference, it led to the low blow, which props to the AEW production team for showing the low blow in slow motion. I thought that was hilarious. And Ethan Page, who couldn't hit the Ego's edge the entire match, had to do it while Bear Bronson was perched onto that second rope, and he hit the Ego's edge and took the victory. Good stuff from Ethan Page. And then after the match, we have the part of the show which, I tweeted about it on Twitter, met with some backlash, some response, some appreciation, I guess, for what I said. And it's that Ethan Page challenged Darby Allin to a coffin match at Road Rager. Look, I get it. Stacking Road Rager is a good idea. I mean, it's your first on-the-road show outside of Daly's Place since the COVID era began. But I'm also still concerned, and I know they addressed the situation a little later with some other matches on these July shows outside of Daly's Place. But I'm concerned that they're stacking Road Rager to the point where Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen is not going to live up to what Road Rager is. Look, now we have 2 gimmick matches in one show, which is the strap match between Cody and QT Marshall. And now you have Darby Allin versus Ethan Page in a coffin match. Look, I like the stacking. Again, I like it. But just worried. A little bit worried about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm unappreciative of the 2 gimmick matches, but I'm a little concerned with the quality. Of course, that's, remains to be seen, but my initial thoughts were that maybe this is going a little too hard at it. You got to think that these other shows are going to be fantastic shows, stacked cards all over the place, if you're going to put a coffin match on the same show as a strap match. Next, we see a promo between Britt Baker and Rebel, and then, which is followed by Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose cutting their own promo. And Britt Baker is really criticizing how Vicky Guerrero really requested a tag match to be the match that she gets repaid for after bringing in Andrade El Idolo. And I agree. It was a really dumb decision. You could have booked the title match to be sooner. You could have done something else. You literally could have booked yourself versus Britt Baker for the title to try and capture the title and then give it to Nyla or some dumb stuff like that. You could have done anything but put yourself in a tag match. I don't know. It's weird. I guess I don't know how, canon-wise that Vicky Guerrero knew that Nyla Rose will face Britt Baker at Fyter Fest. I believe it's night 2, but it is Fyter Fest. They're going to fight for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's still going to be a great match, but this Wednesday is going to be the tag match between Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker and Rebel. Next, in similar news with the women's division, we have Chris Statlander, accompanied to the ring by Orange Cassidy, going against the Bunny, which is accompanied by the Blade. Solid match between these two. They had some good chemistry. I wasn't totally engaged for this match, but from what I looked at my phone some throughout this whole match, but the important part was that the Bunny slid the brass knucks from the Blade, tried to use them. Orange Cassidy slid in, grabbed them, put them in his pocket. I thought that was a very funny thing that they did. Added some humor to Orange Cassidy's character. And then that distraction allowed for Chris Statlander to hit the Big Bang Theory on the Bunny and take the 3 and take the win. Good stuff, good stuff. And then after the match, the Blade attacks Orange Cassidy and TH2, which I guess I just wasn't caught up. They're officially a part of the Hardy family office. I didn't think that was officially a thing, but I guess it is now. They are no longer hired mercenaries and now members of the Hardy family office, as the three of them beat up Orange Cassidy, knocked him out cold. No friends to save them as Trent got his surgery on. I thought it was a neck fusion, but on Dynamite they said it was a spinal surgery. I don't know which one it is, so a little confused. I'm skipping right over the QT Marshall stuff. I really didn't care. Brian Pillman cuts a promo on Miro, setting up their TNT Championship match this Wednesday. And man, the Dynamite on Wednesday is going to be stacked. They have some great matchups for that show. And I'm really not excited that I'm not going to be able to watch it live, probably, due to I'm just going to be in Disney World. But it's going to be a good show. And although I can't do a post-game show unless I could pull one together out my butt, but it's going to be a good show. Eddie Kingston, Penta, and Alex Abrahantes had a little promo sesh. It was good. Setting up the title match. Setting up the tag match for this Wednesday. And if Kingston and Penta can really pull their friendship back together and win, they're going to get a shot at those AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks. And you'd have to think that it's going to be at one of those special pay-per-view-esque shows in July on the road. So maybe, just maybe, Penta and Eddie Kingston will pull out the win. That's what I think. Already to the main event, we have Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy for the AEW World Championship. And this was a very good match. A match that I need to watch again because I feel like my concentration was broken throughout the match, especially with the commercial break. It's one of those matches that I'm going to have to watch after this review, after basketball's over with, just to relive the match and get a really good glimpse of it. But I really enjoyed the match as a whole. It seemed like it was another one of those classic Kenny matches that you'd really see from the AEW version of Kenny Omega. After the match, we had some brawls. Once again, Dynamite ends in a brawl. A little bit sick of that. Why can't the Dynamite finish be different? Probably because the Elite ends the show almost every week now, it seems. Before we mention what happened after, the Good Brothers tried to come and help Kenny win, but the Jurassic Express and Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, again, good gimmick. I love it. They fought off the Good Brothers. So the match was relatively clean between Omega and Jungle Boy, which I really enjoyed that part of it. But then after the match, Jungle Boy's mom was kind of tearing up, looked a little sad. Of course, her son lost the AEW World Championship match to the wrestling god himself, Kenny Omega. And then Omega was going to attack Jungle Boy after the match because he, yet again, still has no respect for Jungle Boy Jack Perry and who he is. But Christian Cage comes out, and I thought it was a little bit surprising that Cage came out. Again, another foreshadowing to Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega, which I'm convinced it's probably going to happen in Kenny Omega's reign as AEW World Champion. And then Matt Hardy and Private Party come out to beat up Christian Cage, and the Young Bucks super kick the hell out of Christian. So the show ended with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks standing tall with the Private Party and Matt Hardy. So who knows, maybe the Elite, the original Elite that teamed up in the first Stadium Stampede match, besides Hangman Adam Page, you have the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Matt Hardy. Maybe they're going to come together. Maybe there's some sort of financial agreement between the Elite and the Hardy family office. That would be such an acquisition for Matt Hardy and all of his money. I mean, he's acquired the Butcher and the Blade, TH2, and if he's brokered a deal with the Elite, man, Matt Hardy could be on top of AEW. But that is just some canon storyline thoughts. That was the show. It was, as a whole, this show is definitely a change of pace from the tape shows. It was a lot better. I feel like it flowed nicely. I was really enjoying Dynamite. I mean, it went by extremely quickly. But that is the end of the post-game show here with Dynamite. If you are watching this and you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with all your friends. So here at SportsBanter, we have so many sports for you as we are consistently trying to put in sports content as the NBA season is almost to a close, almost here at the NBA Finals. We've got the NFL starting back up. Probably going to get into some stuff a little bit before preseason starts in August. And then we have the MLB in the middle of its season. Look to see more content as the NBA season comes to a close. And of course, here with professional wrestling, it's still popping. Luca's got the soccer content down. Man, we are growing our content, growing our consistency, and hopefully coming out with some more consistent, more high-quality product for you viewers. So it's a good time to be a subscriber here at SportsBanter. So, if that appeals to you, join the club, join the banter. Right while I still have you, before we go, check out in the link below, we provided a string cheese triple threat match. Luca participated in this match, and I was commentating along with this crazy triple threat match, not part of the SportsBanter canon, none of that. This has nothing to do with SportsBanter, but a project that me and Luca were in together along with some of Luca's friends. So the link is down below. Definitely give it a check out. Maybe it's in the card too, who knows. And until next time, we'll see y'all in the next video.